Tuesday afternoon where the market just seems to be trying to find its value in between two previous value areas, right? We can see here that here's the T2 value area low, here's the T1 value area high, and we've cracked both of them, but yet to find acceptance inside either, and the market is just balancing back and forth. It is good to note at least that we are one time framing to the upside, and the flow in the market does seem to the upside, which is kind of why I posted earlier to be looking on the lookout for that 72. 72 was kind of the top of that single print, and it ended up getting over that, so we can go ahead and erase these single prints that we had drawn. We're still going to be, focusing in on this value area low here, so that's 68.50, and then we do have a couple of single prints above. But as far as the market goes overall, we can see here, this is the map that I showed you guys yesterday that I made. It's not like some special creation or anything, it's just tracking the sectors. We got XLK, XLV, XLY, XLF, XLC, XLI, and XLP. So we've got 7 of the top sectors in the S&P 500 that I just keep on another screen to track just to see how performance is doing. Typically what I'll do is I'll put a little alert below a support level that I liked from yesterday, and you can see that XLP took out its support. XLY took out its support that I had marked. XLC I actually added another one on XLK because I had one pre-market support, took that out. And it's starting to get a little bit weaker here. Flip over to the flexible grid. We can kind of see that the market is kind of mixed here, right? Really can't decide what it wants to do, but mostly it's been to the upside for the most part today. You can see Microsoft is down 1%. Apple's about flat, but Google's up. Amazon's basically flat. Tesla got a little bit of a boost today. Berkshire is rebounding. Facebook and Nvidia are looking ugly. Starting to look ugly. You can see the advanced decline is up here 635. So there's more stocks advancing than declining, and then you can see the VOLD, which is the volume. The volume is on the increase, making higher lows of volume increase, and this is just volume upticks versus volume downticks. And the same thing here. This is advanced decline is stocks that are upticking versus stocks that are downticking. This is just the ES on a 5-minute chart, and I just have it set up like this so we can zoom in a little bit here. You can see this cumulative tick on the bottom. Still to the upside, showing that most people are lifting the offer so far today as we get up close to this high, and we have been making higher lows, consecutive higher lows, above this balance high, or above this balance low. I mean, if there was some confusion yesterday on the trade view on why I extended the range from this 12-month trading range to what we were in before. The reason being is because when we are, so this is the monthly, right? And so you think about it like this, we get to a high, the market sells off, right? So buying shuts off, sellers come in, sellers start to liquidate, the market rebounds, opens up, starts selling again. The market got a little bit too short. The next month looked back down, didn't take out that previous month, looked above the previous month, but there was no buyers up here. So what does the market do? Opens up, and then the market basically auctions straight down for an entire month. And so this is kind of my thinking here, or my interpretation of what the profile is telling us. The market's breaking up a little bit here, guys. Oh, 173. But my reason that for the trade view of monitoring for this continuation or acceptance back into this previous monthly 3-month balance that we were in is the trend is down, right? And so oftentimes the market gets a little bit too short and has to rebalance inventory, and it's not a monthly level, right? So oftentimes the market gets a little bit too short, has to rebalance before it can move. So it tried to move down, and and this is just our second day of the month here, tried to move down and then has moved back into this balance. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the target is going to be here, the top of balance. We would want to see acceptance, and typically when we're looking for acceptance in a balance zone, we monitor for that point of control, right? And so if we were to we'll look on the TPO. I'll switch the TPO over to a monthly so we can look at it. But you look for that TPO monthly, and really, if you just look for 50% like the middle of the range, and probably here would be that target 56. So if the market is able to get above really that 43.50 level, then there's good odds of us testing that 4600 level. But until then, it's kind of, you just got to be cautious. We are breaking up right now back above 80. And then the reason I extended the range, so we're in a 12-month trading range, is we traded back inside this level, right? So because this previous low got broke, it opens up everything behind it, and that takes us back to last May. And so now we're in a 12-month trading range on a monthly level. And that's how, that's how we should be interpreting that. So if there was confusion in the trade view on why the range was so big or so wide, that's why. Because you have to take that into consideration, because that's where, the market is opening up to. Market's up at 82 now here. Starting to get some, Apple's starting to move positive. Look, big move out of Apple. Microsoft's going back to green. Big pops, even Facebook and Nvidia flipping around big time. They were just down 50% or 0.5%. Now they're getting a little gas here. Consumer discretionary is just killing it. Yes. Let me post the video in the Discord real quick, because I did not do it. And this is kind of what I was talking about, how it seemed a little bit like it was, more leaning to the upside. We were one time framing to the upside, we're balancing, and then eventually you get some range extension. And that's kind of, if we separate this here, I'll post a thing in a second. They'll be fine. And get rid of this because it's kind of confusing. But if you look at this profile here, this is the first 90 minutes. It's a pretty balanced profile, right? Excess high, excess low. And so it gets to the top, volume comes in, market goes up. Right? And look where the impulse was from, right here, this 74 to 72 level, which happens to be, fairly close to those end of those single prints in the value area low. And really, this is what I'm looking to see. I'd like to see us get above this 82. All right, let me send out the video real quick. Oh. Sometimes when I hear my own voice, I'm like, that's not something different. Right, yeah, it does. Yeah, when I hear my voice, I feel like I'm listening to my dad talk. Because our voices, at least when I hear my voice, because my voice doesn't sound like his when he's talking, but like when I hear it on a recording, it feels, it sounds like him to me. Double R, Patrick, Adam, Luis, Trin, Jamie, Peter. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How you doing? No, not yet, not yet. I'll move. I'll probably be over on the East Coast, probably like middle of July, I imagine, because I'll be leaving here the end of June, and then I'm gonna stop and see some buddies on the way. Like, like down Texas, Alabama, uh, Missouri, a bunch of army buddies that are just down there. Like that most of them are out of the army now, but they're all like down, living down in the south. So I'm just gonna go the south way and then drive up once I hit the East Coast. Right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, especially if we take a look at on the yeah, you have this you have kind of a move up, move down, you have this monthly balance, and then we're kind of still in here. These monthlies are still making higher highs for now, but that previous monthly was almost dead even. Um and kind of this is kind of one thing I was looking at yesterday with Bitcoin is if we look on the weekly, it looks it looks like if it keeps, because we're one time framing down on the weekly, if we keep one time framing down and break kind of this poor low on the weekly, or weak low on the weekly, there's probably decent odds that it heads back down, I think, to that 35,000 range, um if it is able to break past this 37. There's a lot of stops that might get triggered, and it could pop up. I don't really see. I mean, it'll be exciting to see what happens tomorrow with the Fed meeting, and if the Fed is gonna do what he's supposed to do, or if he's gonna try to bend to Biden's will and save the stock market or something. I mean, I don't know. It's really kind of insane. Your own voice will sound deeper to you due to the lower frequencies being. Oh, really? I didn't know that. It says your own voice will sound deeper to you due to the lower frequencies being annotated, I don't know that word, by your skull and such. Morning, Pop. Let's get after it. Well, let's talk about the next trade. I think this is something that we talk about, or I kind of talk about both sides, but the next best trade, really, something that we can look for here, would be to look for a play off of our impulse area. So inside this level here, this kind of 68 to 74 level, the market comes back in and we see some of these buyers start to move up. There's good opportunity to get in here, and we start showing acceptance in this previous range, and then we'll be looking to test that 4190. Might just keep going right now. Looks like buyers are coming in. And this will be the target here. Yeah, this 4193, and then you have 4200 just right above. And only 9 contracts traded on that high there. So the breadth. The breadth is pretty positive on the NYSE. We've got 3 to 1 here. Nasdaq's about 1.7 to 1, but this is still good odds, or good breadth at least, kind of telling us that there's opportunity for some continuation of the upside. We're seeing a little bit of divergence within the weighted sectors, but I mean, you can see everything's pretty much green except consumer discretionary. But even then, I don't think I'm not even sold on that. I don't even think it's red, to be honest, the way that I'm looking at it. Most of the sectors look pretty strong. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything kind of crazy happening today. If we do get acceptance inside yesterday's range, there is opportunity to continue trading higher, and That 42.12 is my upside target, and kind of like where I'll close out pretty much all of my position going into tomorrow. Even a lot of the calls that I bought yesterday, I'll probably end up closing them, just because I don't I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with the Fed, and I don't want to have a ton of risk on, because he could really, I mean, he could just be like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go to the moon, money printers back on, let's get it. Or he could just be like, quadruple rate hike, we're raising 1 basis point, and then just the market might get a little bit scared. um Kind of like I talked to. Oh, what's up? Yeah, he just won't get reelected, but at this rate, like, I mean, does he even give a fuck? He's probably so rich. COVID made all of these people with just the tiniest ounce of inside information rich, you know. Even more rich than they already were. You look at some of these people's net worths, and how much it's grown over the past couple of years. You know, it's it's kind of funny. And that's kind of what I was thinking about yesterday, as I was, kind of just messing around on Facebook, or not Facebook, what's this called, YouTube. um is I kept seeing titles of videos saying the stock market's gonna crash, burn, recession, blah blah blah. And so what can happen when stuff happens like that is, retail traders are very emotional creatures, and they're seeing all of this news and almost like predisposition to short. And yesterday, the huge short crowd that came in yesterday to break the low eventually was all weak handed traders. And we can see that, right? We can see that. It's easy, of course, in hindsight. But we had kind of talked about it yesterday, how it kind of felt like there was some buying lurking in the market, as the downside was just not as easy as you would think. It definitely wasn't the same as it was on Friday, where every rally just seemed to die. This day was a lot more back and forth, a lot more choppy, a lot bigger range. But as we got lower and lower, we never really got any volume until after we came off the low. And so we kind of smacked the low, pop back up, and you see this tapering that I'm talking about, what we look for off the bottom, right? So you can see volume coming in, it tapers up, and you get that kind of half pipe mode, right, all the way up until we get, back to the extreme volume. And so basically, this is just giving you levels where sellers have opportunities to move down from here to sell, but they just weren't doing it, right? So what I think is, I mean, even going back to Friday, I think a lot of this volume was people buying the dip, big money buying the dip. And I think big money bought a lot of this and decided, you know what, these stupid ass retail traders are just going to keep shorting this thing for fucking ever. And they just let them push it down. And if we look on the ES, this is one thing I talked about, how we have to remember that gaps are excess. So we have this gap back here, it's right here. Remember that gaps are a form of excess, and excess is a form of support. So we didn't get down to the gap, and as soon as we bounced off that gap, and you know what's annoying as fuck, I'll be honest with you, is I got long. I think I got long at, let me just scroll back and see what this says. It's not long. Oh, I don't have the markers on. I'm like, where the fuck are all my markers at? My first long I took was at 41.12. So I waited a significant amount of time until this thing came back up, and I ended up cutting it just right here as we got back to the spike. Took it like 5 fucking points. But I was sitting there, talking to my wife, and I'm like, man, this thing's just gonna keep going up. I should just hold these positions until tomorrow. But I had a good day on the downside, and I was like, you know, it rejected the excess, and I think a lot of people aren't understanding that, and this thing could rally. I think the market is just way too short, and ended up cutting it. But you know, that's a common thing that we'll see is if we get price just, I mean, this is a significant amount of space, right? 4601 to, that's almost 50 points. I mean, it you know, and we're not getting any volume down. Well, what the fuck's going on? Because especially because we're spending time, right? I can understand if the market was looking like this, right? This is ugly, but we still got markets coming up here, guys, to that, trying to get to that 92 level still. But you still get volume in comparison. Yesterday was one of the biggest volume days that we've seen in a while, especially if we push this thing out a little bit, take a peek at this. So you've got over here, you've got not even a million, just over a million, just over a million, 1.4, 1.5, 1.7, 1.5, 1.5, 1.3, 1.6, and then almost 2 million, right? The biggest day in a while, and price, and none of the volume was down here, right? Except for at the bottom where you started to see, you know, responsive buyers really step up, and then the market started to rally. It trapped a bunch of, you know, late shorts, but it was, you know, it was really just in hindsight, of course, obvious, right? And I wish I wasn't such a little bitch and held that position. Would have been a nice gain. But this is the kind of thing that I want you guys to start implementing in your trading. When the market starts to get really short and it's not getting accompanied by volume, these are key nuances that you should be picking up right away, thinking to yourself like, okay, well, what's going on here? And then zoom out. Because I think, you know, what happens is, I think if I would have zoomed out, maybe, well, I mean, I did zoom out. I just pussied out yesterday, I'm gonna be honest. I just being a little bitch. I just wanted to get off the computer, if I'm being honest. I was done. But you know, those are key nuances that are gonna put you in the right spot to make these good decisions. Morning, Dan. Mr. Red, good morning. Chris B, aloha. Yo, Luis, have you tried these Black Rifle coffee like energy drinks? I guess they're kind of like energy drinks. They're just like coffee in a can. Yeah. Right, yeah. Market's trying to get to that 92 here. 92, 93 area. This 92 quarter is also, if we zoom in here, it's also the half back of this profile. So that's just something to note here. You could see a stronger reaction off of this level. People trying to sell mechanically. And I still, and that being said, right, I still think that this is just, you know, people were too short and they got trapped, and now the market's gotta rally a little bit to get this inventory off, right? It's holding its breath basically now. It just came up for air and it's trying to catch its breath. I do believe that this, if this, especially if this keeps going, and I, you know, I almost kind of expect it to keep going, because it would make sense for the market makers to try to trap more retail traders in, you know, at higher prices. Um, if this thing keeps going and then the Fed gives the, you know, the smackarooski tomorrow, it could really continue to get crushed. And we've got, you know, a weekly, a monthly, or a monthly and a weekly, no longer a daily, right? One time framing, and this is the first step in setting up the upside, right? So part of me is thinking to myself, let me just pull up the daily charts, easier to see real quick. Part of me is thinking that that this is just good excess, right? We had good excess here, the market rallied. Good excess here, the market rallied. Double bottom kind of, market ended up rallying. The market just got, probably too short. The interesting thing is this low yesterday was based off of nothing, right? There was no news, there was no anything. It was just kind of a slow grind down, and it really just seemed like retail traders were just like selling the market, and big money buying was just kind of holding. You're seeing responsive selling here. If this market keeps going up, they're gonna probably push this thing up to 4,200 on the ES right now. They're trying to sell it hard, but just they're fucking up. But so there's definitely that possibility that this thing could rally back up for sure. One thing I do want to note that I forgot to put in the trade view is I've talked about the 200 moving average, and I don't really use it as support or resistance, but instead as an indicator on how the market's doing. Well, we're starting to see it flatten out. And this is something that I've been talking about for a while. While we're under the 200 and the 200 starts to flatten out, it's basically telling you that the market doesn't have very much steam going in, right? The 50 we can see is moving down, but the 50 is really a lot more reactive compared to the 200. But as the 200 starts to flatten out, based off of history, you don't have great things happen for the market after that. At least when I look back, right? There could be, if someone else sees something better, but not that I've really found as far as what's been going on. But look, sellers came in, they're still holding it down. They're really, being responsive up here. And their target, going to be that probably 73.50 or maybe 80 first, but 73.50 looks like a pretty decent level. The volume. There's good volume on that 80, but there's just weak volume right here. What do we got? 2 minutes until the next bar, actually 1 minute until the next bar opens up. So there's good odds right here that we open up on some single prints. And that'll give us an early clue, right? An early clue if we close these single prints that these sellers are being responsive off that point of control. And that leaves good odds of closing the single prints or of, retesting back down to yesterday's high, maybe. Bitcoin's just kind of been all over the place trying to find its feet this week. I think Mr. Red said that he was in a ETH trade. Check it out. Kevin, what's up, man? Are you long or short? Oh, you've been long for like a couple days. You said 27, 23? Nice. Okay. Nice. Really nice. And so as it's coming back into this upper balance that you see, just make sure that you're monitoring for that continuation. Don't let it come all the way back down. I mean, there might be opportunity for it to hold value. As you can see, value's kind of building up here, and you have a previous low. That's actually a good level right there. This level here at 27.94, pretty decent level. But just be careful there. We did make that higher high on the daily, but it's coming back into the range. And if it doesn't hold this 27.95, there's probably good odds that it comes down 63. E period's open. Let's see if they go for the high here. This will tell us. So we open with some single prints. We can close these single prints now. So we've got single prints here from 73.50 up to 85.75. The E open is the low. So they basically, E opens up and they started buying right away. Sellers again trying to be responsive, and this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, in the Discord, where we were seeing responsive sellers basically at um, the B high really, and we ended up breaking them. It was kind of this area here, the 64-ish area, 64 to 62. And if we were to break it, I was looking for 72 originally, and then now we're of course above that, but we're kind of seeing the play that was down here up here again. All right, so imagine if we take this, put the profile here, and you basically what we'll monitor for here is if we get this continuation, or does the market start to give us a little bit of this, a P profile, right? And P profiles, as we know, will start to or will elude us to short covering in the market. Sometimes short covering can weaken a market as well, so we'll have to monitor for that. But right now, the first thing to monitor for is continuation, actually. Finally 92, my God. I guess just a small position left that I'm looking to carry up to the 12, and then a bunch of option positions. So see, similar, just kind of like we just talked about, you had the responsive selling, but they just weren't able to hold, and they start to get a little bit of extension here. And now we're just monitoring for continuation. Remember that VPOC, so that's the TPOC from that day. The VPOC is up here at 10. And you can see where the volume came in on the way down, and these are probably, just people covering from yesterday that got too short. Remember that most hedge funds or leveraged money, and leveraged money is like yourselves and myself, and then a lot of hedge funds are leveraged, or prop firms are leveraged, and you oh yeah, I mean, imagine if you're a futures trader for a prop firm, and you're trading a legit, like, so these funded accounts are not legit like $300,000 accounts, but a lot of these prop firms start off around that 300 grand, especially with the margin, and they're trading, they're utilizing the margin that they have, the probably, I don't want to say better than most, but they just have done it, they're just more experienced in it. But they're maxing out their margin because their whole goal is to try to beat the market, right? And so if they can't, if they really, these hedge funds, their goal is to get notoriety, right? They want to get on TV. They want people to ask them, why are they doing so well? I mean, look at fucking Kathy Woods. Nobody knew who Kathy Woods was like 4 years ago, but she got rich off of COVID because she made the right plays, and now her her fund literally, well, yeah, it's getting smacked, but it trades on the stock market, you know what I mean? Like, it became public, and everyone sees that, and that's what they want to do, and the only way to do that is to really press your luck. You're out there fucking, you've got $250,000, and instead of just calling it a day and heading home, you're like, no, all right, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, listen, and then fucking sometimes they get the whammy, sometimes it works out. They did really well. A lot of prop firms and hedge funds did well this year because most of them are always short, and so far this year they've been doing really well. But any updates, I'm sure, and we've seen how violent some of the updates have been, is because it's them just unwinding some of their positions because they're a little bit too aggressive here. Right, and most of them are probably still short from this day, the Thursday that we had, or the Friday where the market actually broke down below. Selling starting to come in again. So you saw buying kind of get a little bit scarce up there in the 95 region, and now sellers, this is back where they were trying to come in before. So they're back in their comfort zone here. Now they're going to look to try to trade price lower. Damn you. What? How can he? Instagram is part of Meta. No, yeah, but it's under, no, it's under the Meta did that. That's why they switched to Meta, so they could include everything. So he'd have to sell, like Zuckerberg would have to sell Instagram, which I that's actually, I wouldn't doubt that he would, because he is trying to um he's trying to make Facebook an all-in-one, right? He's trying to get rid of he's trying to get rid of Snapchat, he's trying to get rid of Instagram, he's trying to get rid of what yeah, bunch of old people still on there, and you know the trend is getting there, and they're like, I want to make a stupid fucking video and let me show it to my old ass friends on Facebook. You know, I mean, I'm on Facebook. Instagram. Damn. I mean, that makes sense. Like, you know, it's definitely more active. I wonder, well, I don't have TikTok. Does TikTok run a lot of ads like Instagram does, or no? Oh, dang. And that's probably why he's trying to come back, because he's put so much work into Facebook, and Facebook has so many people on it. Because most people, when they stop using Facebook, they don't, you know, delete their account. They just stop using it. So if he can draw everything back in, because he's trying to make a Facebook marketplace, he's trying to make the metaverse available on there. He's trying to make the reels on there, the streaming on there. I mean, he's trying to basically bring everything back to one, so it would make sense. I mean, I don't know how Elon's gonna fucking afford Instagram. You know, he's barely affording Twitter, I feel like, at this rate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he's set on that. Yeah, he really wants to yeah, that's crazy. Oh, I'm sure there is, like, there's probably some human trials that have been done. You saw that they did the Neuralink on a monkey. I think I saw something about it. Yeah, I saw a video of one of them. Um, you know, what would be really impressive is if they were able to make a monkey like speak. You know, that would be a selling point for everybody. If they could give a Neuralink to, you know, an animal that doesn't speak, a native language and give them the ability to speak a native language, guaranteed, I I bet, fuck, you know, pretty much all of my money that you would have a crazy number of people rushing to buy it for their fucking dog. Because everybody wants to know what their dog's saying and thinking, you know? Or their cat, you know? Could you imagine just having one on a cat? It's just making shitty, sarcastic comments to you all day. Like, God, stupid fucking human. If I was bigger than you, I'd eat you instantly, you know? Yeah. Dude, you guys want to see a funny ass picture? Let me post this in the Discord. So you guys know my cat's kind of like outside a wild animal. He's fucking lurking in this in the upstairs window. He's staring inside my son's bedroom window in this picture. I'll just post it in the general chat. Look at this fucking picture, dude. This picture is just, you can like, I mean, she's just like black as all can be, so you can't really see her, but I'll show you on the stream too so you guys can see it. And my son's room messy, so he's a kid. I mean, look at her eyes. She's just out there just staring inside, just making sure that we're behaving. Probably, who knows what she's doing, but there's a lurk. Yes, cat. Yeah, I'd probably buy it too, just because I'd like to hear what they're thinking. It'd be funny. Oh, easy, yeah. They would put a fucking Elon's smart. He's gonna put a subscription on that shit, and you're gonna pay on that shit for the rest of your life. You know, that's just like his cars, because don't you have to pay to update the cars? Okay. Right, like Sirius XM, and said they're like four-wheel drive. Yeah, and that's when it comes in. That's when, I mean, that's just such a scary thing, because when you start making everything a subscription, you don't own anything, and owning stuff is part of you know life. I feel like you need to own things, like actually own them. And the cat's plotting my murder for sure. She might be. She's a boss. That cat, she's wild. I mean, she doesn't, like I said, she doesn't have a litter box. She does, her business outside, and she kills animals like all the time. What is it? Why murder? Damn. Cool, getting some selling here. Remember, we're watching that 74 to 72 area for that pullback. That close of those singles might, bring in some responsive buying or some initiated buying above yesterday's high, and they could try to test back up. There is definitely some interest in the upside, right? It's not like we've just seen buying shut off. There was still buyers up at the 95. They just didn't have any help. Oh, is that thing on two? It's on one tick. That's why. There we go. Here. Yeah, I mean, some cats are dope. Like this cat is dope. I've had some pretty cool cats. It'll be dope to have like a, like a lion. You could just never ever piss it off because it would just murder you. So, seeing, I mean, only 4 contracts trade on that low there. And you can kind of see, and this is like kind of a new thing that we've been discovering since we've changed the profile, is you're kind of getting this little move here. So you're seeing buyers step up here, right? And then you can see, where all the volume was at. This is kind of the back and forth. This is where the auction was at. Remember, if we separated the D profile, we're talking about possibly forming a P shape. Well, so far we are doing that. So here's the stem of the D, and then the bottom of the E so far. And so if we keep getting this nice tapering volume and get above this top volume, you see it kind of tapers off, and then boom. So we know where the responsive seller is at, lurking right here, up here 96 to 94. We're assuming 72 to 79, this weak area is going to be where there's no supply, since we're still one time framing up and there hasn't really been any sign of selling, just more of some absorption or really just short covering for the most part. And so we're assuming that selling will probably shut off down here and buyers will step in, initiate some new longs, and price will trade back up. The target will be this value, and then more to the upside if if we get over that chunk and start to come back and test this level. And so you're looking for the reaction. So if you're looking for a trade, which you shouldn't be, but we're waiting for this trade to come to us, this would be the setup that we would be looking for, possibly something like this. And then what we want to see as we get to this top is the market to give us this, right? If it gets back up into value and starts going like this, that's pretty normal, right? But if it comes up like this and you see that strong rejection like this, that's not really great for the upside. We'd much rather see it just come up and just start to hang out, start to see volume form, and then continue to the upside. And then also, there's a very real chance that if we get here and longs, late longs that are trying to initiate are trapped, they start to cover, we trade back into our lower value, right? Just our pretty much it's the top of C. C's right here. This is that kind of like beginning value that we talked about. So you got to be ready for both sides, but we want to trade with the way that the market is going, and right now the market is going up. And in order to get a cessation of one time framing, we'd have to trade all the way down to 53, which is still above the settle, which is still, in my eyes, kind of buyable. Once it gets down below the settle, that's when it starts to get not very favorable for me. And then, below that A low back in yesterday's balance, you could see some more ranging in there. As of right now, we have single prints to the upside, and the upside seems to have been the right side so far. That's funny. Yeah, cats are smart, and like if cats are nice to people, people tend to like them. They're like, oh, this cat's nice, I'll feed him. And then once you feed a cat, they tell all their cat friends, and then everybody shows up and like, yo, like fucking pigeons. Interesting level here, this 80. We had a cat one time, my brother, when we lived in Santa Cruz, the this cat named Gizmo, and we got one of those like automatic cat feeders, like where it's like just gravity, it just if they eat, gravity fills the bowl again. And this stupid cat would just eat until he would get sick and he'd throw up, and then he'd just eat his throw up. He just, he's just a fat piece of shit. So Apple's up 0.6, Microsoft down 0.8, Google's up 1%, Amazon's, down 0.1, Tesla's up 1%, Facebook is just barely break even pretty much. Nvidia's trying to go back to green, still selling in the market here. Apple's testing the upside here though. See if it's going to keep getting any gas. They're looking for help here. These buyers are looking for help to take this thing up. Pulling back now. Oil's starting to get a little bit of gas here. Amazon's getting some selling in it. We're still getting some buyers in it right here. Apple's looking to break out of the top right here. Didn't try to get back to that 160 level. That could bring the market up, I think. Microsoft's even coming up a little bit. Oil's actually down today about 1.25%. Still above the 100 level though. It's at 103. All the other ETFs from the other markets besides India looks green as well. The VIX is coming down too. It's 30.6 right now. Just putting some alerts everywhere. Get some alerts in case the market really starts to make a decision here. Market's struggling here. So we've seen this kind of responsive seller move down a little bit, in my opinion, it looks like, and there might be some downside if they can't get it up. Buyers are trying here, but they're just struggling. They need to pop this level is this. They need to pop that 8650. Where that weak volume is, that's where they need to get above. They're trying here. It just seems like to me it seems kind of like sellers are, you know, we got some responsive selling up here, and it looks to me like they're moving down a little bit here. You can see kind of the chunks of volume moving in, at least in the last 30 minutes. It kind of seems like they're moving down. So, oh, here we go. I'm not going short, just so you guys know. It's not a, I'm just letting you know what's going on. But that's kind of what it seems. And so when we see stuff like that in the auction and we're in a long, we've just got to, normally what I will do is tighten up a little bit, right? Like maybe get ready to flatten my position. Like I said, I'm looking for the 12. You know, I don't need the 12 to be happy. I don't need to be right to be happy. Okay, I just need to make good trades. That's what I'm looking for, and make sure that I manage risk well. But you know, that's my goal. It'd be nice, but if we start to see things like this early in the auction, start to see kind of some sellers moving down, and we're not really getting up and buying this level here. This is the level I'm looking to see grow. If it doesn't happen, then I don't want to just sit around. I'll try it again, you know, maybe add a little bit later. There's no point. So let's see as F opens up if we get some initiated buying up here. And it looks like we are. The Dow's getting some buying in it. Come on, Apple, what are you guys doing? iPhone 14.8. It's the same, but this time it's yellow. That's basically what just happened on the last Apple release, right? Is the new iPhone any different? The green one? Seems exactly the same, except just like that forest green color. Oh, it has 17 cameras. That's what it is. This is the level we're watching. I'll just leave the line there so we can watch this here. Watch that 7,000. We want to see it pump up like quick. Let's see. That was weak. Weak like fucking 3 contracts or something. Okay. And so now that we've identified this seller, this gives us an opportunity to get into a position and manage a little bit of risk, especially during this F session. So let's say this F session, you know, auctions down a little bit. I'll keep going. Let's say it auctions down a little bit. 4 contracts. There we go. There's some good volumes. A couple hundred right there. Oh yeah. Let's go. Get up to that 12, you little bitch. So watch for the responsive sellers here. Up here where we said 94 to 96 level. 1 contract traded on that high tick. But so anyway, was what I was saying is that's a mechanical high. I'm not a huge fan of that high, to be honest. That being the same as D, that just seems mechanical. If F auctions back down into this volume, there's good opportunity to try along with really tight risk. And those are, you know, those are great trades. If you miss the breakout and you're trying to look for a spot to get back in, well, that's where you should be looking for. You shouldn't be looking to buy the top. You should be looking for it to come back down in a spot that you can get in and manage risk and feel comfortable in the trade, letting it run as it goes up, right? You don't want to, if you get in right here and it pulls back down a little bit, you start to get nervous and you're like, and then you cut it and then boom, it goes, right? But if you're able to wait, be patient, let that trade come to you, get in here or get in lower, and the trade goes up and starts to bounce around, well, you know, no big deal, right? Because you're already in profit. So you're not really, you know, feeling anything. You could even close if you wanted for profit, but you know, and so that's where it comes into being patient and waiting for that that trade to come to you. And remember what we talked about. This is what we want to see as we approach this. We want to see it hold up here. I don't want to see, yeah, I want to see these, yeah, that's not what I want to see. I want to see buyers keep up and keep initiating price here and keep buying this thing higher and higher and higher. There we go. So you saw them just boom, come in, they filled that in. So let's see if they fill in this 700 here. Sellers are not as responsive here to me, it doesn't look like. As they were, you know, during that E period, and that E period came all the way back down to the 80. So nothing traded there here, or yeah, right here. We're just hanging out right here. We're from about 91 to 93 so far, filling in this volume. Look at the tapering that's going on here. So you basically have kind of a drop off in volume, and you just kind of taper up all the way to here. It drops off, and then it comes back in, you know, right at the edge. So that, to me, is kind of showing that buyers are looking to take this thing higher. Let's look at the volume real quick and the breadth. The breadth still looks good, 3 to 1, 1.8 to 1. So still, the breadth looks pretty decent. The NYSE volume. Seeing some selling on the board here, though. There's still kind of a divergence with the weighted sectors, right? The weighted sectors are not getting as much love as the rest of the market. So here comes the key. Watch F as it comes back down. There might be some opportunity down here. Unless it breaks that E low. If it breaks the E low, just let it run until it runs its course. But there is some opportunity down here. Ooh. The breadth just shows us, here, I'll pull it over. About 8% less volume today so far. So it just tells you, so yeah, the breadth just dropped big time, just dropped by half actually right there, because it was 3.6, now it's 2.6. We're starting to get a lot of selling. Is there some news? I'm not able to fill the singles here. Trying to look at Twitter real quick, guys. Google gave an update about cyber activity in Eastern Europe. Hang on a second. 1 second, Kevin. So be careful here, guys. That was a big pickup in tempo. Not really volume very much, but definitely a bigger pickup in tempo. I'm not a huge fan of. Yeah, crypto did too. Yeah, that's why I'm looking for some news. Normally, when we see reaction like that, but I don't really see anything. But I'm seeing selling all over the board. Like if we look here, you can see like every sector just started to turn over here hard, right? You haven't seen moves like that all day. And it's just a line on close chart to make it easy, because I'm not giving a shit about the candlesticks. I just want to see if it's going up or down. But you can see the dollars pumping. While we're on here, Kevin, this is what I'm talking about. So that means for every one stock going down in the NYSE, there's 2.5 going up, right? In comparison, and the same thing with the Nasdaq, 1.2 to 1. That's all that means. Like one making higher highs or lower lows. A good breadth on a trend day is like 3 and above. If you're going to continue trending. So you guys see what I mean? Why we wanted to manage risk a little bit up there. I mean, it did look like we were getting some buying. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, like I said, back below that chunk of volume, kind of tells us that there was some selling. We saw the initial selling off that D high. We said it was mechanical, fixed it, and then turned around and you know got some big selling. Probably you know just liquidation in my opinion. And now what we'll look for is to see if you know we're going to get continuation. And this is kind of the biggest tempo that we've had all day as this thing's starting to pick up a little bit to the downside. I wouldn't you know be selling the farm here, but information technology and consumer discretionary just flipped red. Netflix is red. Q. Yeah, a lot of red coming in here. Yeah, the yen's been dying. Yeah, the yen has been dying. Yeah, that's what we've been kind of talking about is like the yen, the euro, and the pound. So if we look at the yen futures, um, you know, they're just getting absolutely crushed. Then we look at the euro futures, they're getting absolutely crushed, right? Breaking out of their weekly range and getting into their monthly range. And then the pound futures as well. I've been getting absolutely just smacked. And then you look at the dollar, and the dollar is just super strong. Super strong. So the market's coming back to that 64, 62 level, right? This is the level that we talked about where there might be some opportunity to buy some more um, to add to this up position. We did have a cessation of one time framing and a close of single prints, and that's just letting us know, you know, that responsive seller is up there and he's, you know, not going to be easy to take out. And, you know, a lot of times this is going to make me a little bit more cautious because that seemed like a fairly strong response off of the point of control. Now, you know, now that we're looking back and we've closed this double distribution. And so really an acceptance, especially if we get in below this, there could be, there could be more selling. Not saying that there's going to be, it's just, you know, these are the kind of things that, you know, kind of thoughts that are just going through my head all the time as the market just kind of searches for value. But yeah, I think, you know, I honestly think as soon as the dollar um rolls over, then you'll start to see some chaos around the world. Some, I mean, there's already chaos, obviously, but you'll start to see some fucking nonsense. I don't. Yeah, I try to not even do stuff like that because then I can get so fixated on seeing things that aren't there that I try not to figure out a turning point. But if I mean if we look at the dollar, right? Let's look on the monthly in this office. I mean, if you look at the monthly, we're coming, you know, into the top of this monthly range, so it would make sense for people to sell the dollar. Only thing is that a lot of these other economies are doing just, you know, shittier than we are. And if you're gonna buy something, you know, if you look at a currency map, let me pull one up so you guys can see it. I think FinBiz has one. World. No, it doesn't show it. See if I can show. Let me find this other website that I have that I can show you guys. There we go. Trying to log in. Where am I logging in for me? fuck is going on here? God damn it, how the fuck do I get to this website? I'm trying to find this currency model that I look at every once in a while. I just can't remember where it's at. I don't really track, I don't really follow currencies very much. But when I do, I like to see when where they're kind of flowing. And this thing's just like not letting me do what I want to do. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I think here we go. So here's a global capital flow, and this is kind of what I was talking about. You can see, like, you know, pretty much all over, you know, we've been getting most of the money, right? So everyone's been buying the dollar, right? The South American and Australian money has been going up as well, actually. But you're getting a big rotation out of a bigger part of the world pushing into the you know, into the States. And if we look on the monthly, you can kind of see the same, you know, same idea. Same thing. Everything over here is getting an increase in volume. Market's coming down a little bit here. Where are we at? 72. So we're back at that level. Let's go back real quick. Didn't get down to that 64 like we were looking for, but it's coming down to that 72. So it's close to yesterday's high and to the value area low right there, 68. But basically, you know, so you can kind of see over the past month where everything's been kind of flowing into that. And that basically tells me that until that stops, until we start seeing an influx of people buying dollars in other countries, you know, whatever they're called, I'm just calling them all dollars just to get through this, but until we start seeing big influxes in other countries' dollar getting bought and our dollars stop getting bought, you know, I think that I think the market's kind of safe until then. And you know, even if we don't see, you can see the balance on this monthly, right? If we draw this kind of monthly balance, change the color to red. Even if it does get a rejection, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, the dollar is going to crash and the market's going to crash. It's just something that we need to be, you know, paying attention to. And it will be interesting, like Luis is saying, if the dollar starts to does start to crash, is Bitcoin going to follow it? Or is Bitcoin going to trade it inversely, right? Will we see a big pump on Bitcoin if the dollar starts to pull back? And really, I mean, we've seen this huge spike in the dollar from, you know, May 1st, really, 2021. And now we're back up. I mean, the last time we were up at these levels was December 2016. And if we take a peek at the market during those times, let's look at the SPX. I got my shit on here. 2000. You can see kind of where the market was at, right? Here's 2016. Market went from 2181 down to 2083. And then, you know, looked pretty strong. A little bit before that, 2016 or 2014, 2016, we had that kind of drop, but we're back up. I mean, the gain is just, when you look at the market, it's just kind of insane. But I mean, even if you had a pullback, I know this is, you know, just kind of crazy thinking, but even if you had a pullback, and even down to there, that 33.92, or really like here, and the market drops 50%, you can't really rule something like that out with what's going on right now, right? It's just a possibility. And then a lot of people are looking at this. You look at the SPX on a daily, and we look at the market here. So let's take a little snapshot. Pull up a document real quick, paste it in there. Oh, you fucker. I mean, this is kind of what people are talking about here. This is you know, this on the left is right now. This on the right is 2008. So we are here. You are here. But remember, history doesn't, I mean, history tends to repeat itself when people don't follow history, but the stock market is probably one of the most, I mean, honestly, just like one of the places where people track history the most. And so easily the market today could, you know, and most likely will not be the same as it was then, right? And that's because of the people trading it. You really think about it. And some even think, you know, maybe the market's too big to fail, and we just won't let it fail no matter what happens, because if it does, it could, you know, devastate America. Does the dollar spiking like that indicate money printing? No, no, no. It actually the dollar spiking is actually representing low liquidity, because everyone's buying dollars.
Right. So since they stopped printing money, there's not as much money being printed, so the dollar's going up in value. And
Exactly.
the big key is the U.S. dollar versus a basket of other currencies.
Right. Exactly. And that's a perfect way to put it. Is you think about a lot of these countries that owe money in dollars, right? They've taken out a loan in dollars, and whoever you take a loan out, you know, if you took a loan out for me in dollars and tried to pay me back in pesos, I'd be like, no, right? I need dollars. And so they're buying dollars, a lot of these countries, to pay a lot of their debts. And you guys remember I talked about Australia owes a lot of money in dollars to China, which is kind of interesting. What's up, Tommy? Oh, Double R, you got. I just saw your question, bro. My bad. Um. Oh, you met a recruiter, Dad, that knows me? What's his name? Uh, See that, and that's the thing. That's actually a good point, Double R. Is that a lot of times the dollar going down would correlate to the market going up, but if we compare here recently, the dollar, um, if we go back to kind of COVID levels, let's say that the dollar started going up, right around here in May 2021, and hasn't really stopped going up. And you could kind of say that the market is topping right there, and they're and the market's coming down. So that could be right on the right track of inverse correlation, and it could be that could be if this thing keeps breaking out, that could be just a clear sign that the market's going to keep breaking down. What was interesting though is the dollar didn't really suffer as much during COVID until a little bit after. As you can see, it started to really get crushed. Take this off.
Down here in South America, so many companies still use the dollar. When we bought a car, they took a wire in the US $4 and didn't even worry about it. Like, okay. Like, fine, you want to pay us some dollars? Okay, no problem at all. And a lot of companies and larger things will do it in dollars instead of Colombian peso, which is a more stable compared to some of the other currencies around here.
Even that Colombian peso has been getting a boost lately.
Not today.
Not
Not
today.
today. Today. Today is I'm going to the bank after this. After I'm done here.
What's the ticker for that thing?
Hold on, let me show you. It's COP, USD COP.
Oh, the dollar is just beating it down.
Are you in, Peter?
Colombia.
Yeah. I like it.
6 years and counting. We'll keep going. Anywhere where you can earn in dollars and live in pesos is a good situation.
Yeah, is the crime all right out there?
Man, honestly, it's funnier than hell people say that. Like, you get a little petty crime and stuff like that, but like, there's not a lot of gun violence. There's not a lot of, like, I don't worry about my son going to school and getting shot up and stuff like that. Like, you don't walk around with like, brand new shit all the time and you're fine. And right neighborhoods and stuff. You're not walking into you know, downtown Chicago type areas with a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I don't feel unsafe at all.
In my mind, I think when was the last beheading of a drug cartel?
Well, that's the mindset. But like my brother lives in Charleston, South Carolina, and there's been like 4 or 5 mass shootings in the 6 years that we've been here and none here. So it's just kind of
Yeah, it's all about how the news just portrays everything.
Yeah, they demonize everything.
Yeah. And you were in a unique situation too because your wife is local, so you kind of, you got like the upper hand. People can't really fuck with you.
Yeah, but she's from a different region in the country, so it's not. Nobody fucks with us. We have like 4 employees. All we do is bring in dollars and pay for Colombian employees. How
Right.
terrible are we? we add to the economy.
Yeah, I don't think South America is as bad as Central America is lately.
Oh no, fuck no. That's for sure.
Central America's just been wild.
I'll tell you, I'm going to Bitcoin Beach in 2 weeks, so I'll tell you how El Salvador is afterwards.
Yeah, let me know.
That's dope, man. You got me thinking like, man, maybe I should get the fuck out of America because I get paid every month in dollars. And if I can live in a currency that's,
Oh yeah, 100%. I rent out a condo in South Florida for this, an 800 square foot condo for the same price I rent out a 2,500 square foot home here in a nice area. So, you know, those advantages are key.
yeah. How much in dollars is that, if you don't mind me asking, like a month to rent
In
over there?
this is I think we're at like 1350 right now for renting it.
It's easy money. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't,
Thank
you
you.
know, you're welcome.
And the weather there is pretty nice all year, huh? Ooh, a little bit of selling there in the market.
Eternal Spring, that's the name for Medellin.
Nice.
I'm
And
telling
all the
you,
free cocaine you want, right? No, I'm just kidding.
once we all make it, you got to come down and party down here. Money will go a lot farther than Vegas.
Oh,
I've been
definitely.
I've been sober for years now, but I think if I went to Colombia, I definitely have to just try it.
It's funny, you don't really see it around that much partying because it's too expensive for the locals.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, you can find it. Don't get me
That
wrong,
makes
but
sense. Yeah, that makes sense though. Not
it
everyone's.
ain't like Miami when you walk into a bathroom and you see people taking lines.
Yeah, they got the butler in the bathroom he's like, do you want some cologne? Do you want some Coke?
Yeah, seen that in South Beach way too many times.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, we definitely plan, once we get established over there in Pennsylvania, my wife and I definitely plan on traveling. So we've got a list of places we'd want to go, and I definitely would be down to go to South America for sure. I've never been.
Yeah, hit me up.
Can you set up a tour of a drug plantation?
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be
If
sick.
if we all want to make it back, I don't think that's what we need to do.
I just want to see the money. I want to see the piles of money piled up. And
But like what they did down here, what nobody ever talks about, is that the FARC, when they created the peace deal with them, all the old coke lands, they turned them into legal weed farms. And it's the only country in the world that's allowed to export. And Canada is the only place that's allowed to import. And they have all these contracts just exporting weed to Canada, just
Damn.
left and right. Yeah.
Probably make stacks of money doing that too.
Oh yeah, you grow it here for pennies. You don't need lighting. Here is 12 hours of sun day, 10 hours of darkness, so it flowers naturally out here.
Oh, that's
on
cool.
cheap labor.
And everybody in Canada is just high, that's why they're always so nice.
Yeah, and they get it cheaper from here. We got one of the largest farms in the country outside my house, and you'll see if you drive by it at night, you see the half of it lit up for the veg area, and the other half dark for the flowering area.
Yeah, and so I bet some of the plants there get just gigantic too.
Yeah,
On the flight
upload
now.
some pictures. I'll upload some pictures from my greenhouse.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
You grow weed out there?
Everybody's allowed 20. Every household's allowed 20 legally.
Damn, so. I was growing out here in Massachusetts, but I was using like science. I was doing a high pressure aeroponics where the roots just hang in a net cup and they're inside a dark container and they're getting sprayed by like little tiny particles of water and nutrients, and they're able to intake it faster and they grow at a rapid rate. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I was doing deep water culture for a while, but here it's just like you take the soil, you put it in the composter when it's done, and it's ready again in a few months, and you just kind of keep doing the cycle. Yeah, simple.
Cool. It's dope.
So when we look at the profile like this, as we're developing this value here, and we're moving, the price is moving a little bit lower. Imagine with me that this is a weak spot, right? And so what I imagine now is that this becomes resistance, right? So we saw the seller initially, he moved down. Let's see if they can push it through here. That's kind of the target, but and we see how it kind of fades off the top right there. And that's what I'm talking about. This is, the seller has moved down. This is kind of a capitulation point from buyers. Buyers kind of gave up. G opens up, and now, you know, you're getting some buying down here lower, and this is going to become a spot that sellers will try to defend, right? Typically, in my experience, not always going to happen like that, but that's kind of what it looks like in the auction today. That you've got some buyers in the market, people got a little bit overzealous, sellers caught on to it early, where they let the market get a little bit exhausted, move back down, trickled. Buyers finally realized that they were stuck. They started to race for the doors. You had kind of a liquidation back down into value where we have 4 TPOs or more. And, you know, now it's kind of the same situation. So we'll look for sellers to continue to move down. We know these are responsive sellers, right? Because we're inside that old weekly balance and we came right to that point of control. So we know this is a responsive seller moving down here to here, then to here. And this not really been a move down situation yet. So that seller is still here. And what we're looking for them to see if they're going to hold this ground here, right? It kind of gave it up a little bit right here as value continues to build higher. And this is not a spot to sell, right? If we're going to sell, we want to sell with the responsive seller or higher. So we're not looking to get short here, but we're looking to see if there's some rejection here. That's a possibility, you know, that we could manage risk, maybe put our stop back into E where those 3 TPOs start again, and you know, look for a possible short covering. And if we split the profile here, do I split it right? Yeah. You know, and we kind of look at it, it does look like a P profile, and we know sometimes short covering can kind of weaken a market. Well, we can see the weakness now here still in our P profile, right? We've got the stem, you know, D open, moves up. We've got this big P shape, and we can see the weakness in the market here in the auction. And so what we're looking now to do is, I mean, I still like the long from right here, the 64 to 62 area. If we see some initiated buyers, and that's kind of where I still think that they're at, and we might get a little bit of short covering down there as well. So I'm not really ready to short from this level, but it's just something to note as we continue the auction, that if we don't get back up into this 3 TPO range, then there's good odds that we do trade back down to the 56. Which is the open, and that's really the target. You know, that you can kind of look at the market every day as a almost a tug of war, right? And we know when you're doing tug of war, if you've never done tug of war, right? Oops, drew it too long. If we have a rope that's this long so far, and this was the open, imagine if you tied the knot right there. The knot is, you know, the knot's up here now, but here's the open. So this is the starting line, and these people on this side have been tugging it, right? It's kind of reverse because, you know, these are buyers that are tugging it up. But you kind of get what I mean, right? Does that make sense? If when you're looking at that kind of auction, it's kind of like a tug of war back and forth, and you have the knot, which is price, just kind of going back and forth and showing you kind of who's winning, and we can use the open kind of as a starting line, right? And so if you imagine, if a responsive seller comes in, a responsive seller comes in, if a responsive seller shows up again down here lower, which is kind of where we're looking to see if they're going to respond, their target is going to be the open naturally, because, you know, that's kind of like the okay, I'm winning now, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to monitor in the auction, is who is being more active, buyers or sellers. And that's where we, you know, that's just kind of a different explanation on how to explain what we talked about, how you take the profile, you take it from the point of control and go up until there's 2 TPOs, right? Well, who's being more active here, right? It's pretty close. But, you know, if we really had to, you know, say, I would say it's, you know, buyers obviously based off of the open, but we haven't seen yet a big initiation of buying above, above yesterday's high, right? There's not a lot of volume, and that's just kind of telling us that there's no selling, but we did see the responsive seller. And so now imagine, your rope is here and your knot is here. When it gets past this point, these guys might just give up, and you might get a downside. Or if it starts to get back down lower, these guys start to get a little bit scared, and they start to say, "Oh, I don't want to play anymore. I'm going to take my whatever it is." We're back to that 74 level. It's decent volume coming in. Does that analogy help? If you look at the market kind of like a tug of war.
For sure.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The breadth is weak right now. Nasdaq's almost Nasdaq's almost red. The Nasdaq is red. It's actually down 0.1%, but the Nasdaq breadth is almost red as well. The dollar's starting to turn down a little bit. Bitcoin's starting to turn back down a little bit. Gold is actually up 0.5%. Did anyone see get gold smacked? Oh god, it was awesome. The whole market got bullish on gold, and I was like, I'm gonna short it. Bought some puts, and then thing just got smacked out of the sky. And that's if you look at this, and I was literally just trading psychology at that point, because gold was just raging, and then there was this pullback. Gold started to rage again, and everyone's like, it's going to 2000, and then it just got a little smackarooski. Just based off psychology, they weren't paying attention to this day. Literally tried to go back into value and got rejected. And that was just kind of, it was just clear as day. Everyone was buying, and it was just, the market was just going straight down. It was, kind of just easy setup, really. And it was just pure market psychology. It was just, I was literally just seeing so many people on, Twitter saying gold to 2000, gold to 2000, gold to 2000. And I was like, if this thing doesn't open up tomorrow, I'm going to short it. And then it did not.
Bitcoin just dropped a whole bunch of shorts on the bottom here. Not saying we won't go back there, but
Where there's like just no volume down here at all. Let's look on, I want to look on. I want to pull up Bitcoin on here too.
Bitcoin has been quite upsetting lately. I keep trying. I get into these good positions, and the market stays coming back.
I was like, where's all my junk? Yeah, Bitcoin's been like consecutively making lower lows. I really won't buy Bitcoin until we get above this 39 level again, 39,136. It's been good to me, so I'll be good to. So I'm gonna pull up the Bitcoin futures chart here, so we can look at the market and what's kind of been happening.
Wait, what did you say you won't buy unless what?
What?
What did you say you won't buy unless what happens?
I won't buy unless we get
Sure.
above that 39,136 level.
Okay.
So the contracts obviously are very small on here because it's expensive to trade this. The margin is expensive. And it's super speculative still. Like people really haven't accepted it. You know, there's just now getting people like including it in their you know, retirement funds and portfolios and stuff. But you can kind of see on this drop right here on Bitcoin, we did get a little bit of or that kind of spike low. You did get a little bit of volume down there, not much. We couldn't really see it on the trading view, but you're getting more action down here at lower prices than we did the previous day, right? And you can kind of see you had responsive buying down there yesterday. It came down. There was some interest again in the lows, and now we're trading above this volume. So if Bitcoin, you know, tends to stay above, or if Bitcoin does stay above, you know, this volume nodule, there's good odds that it comes back into yesterday's value around that 38 300 level. But doesn't look like it's gonna, if I'm being honest. Normally when Bitcoin's getting a lot of money into it, it will.
That's really cool that you said that, Brad. I have resistance over here. I just checked it. You said that. It's like 38,350. I'm like, wow. You hit
Nice.
it right on the.
Perfect. Good job. It's always nice too when we're seeing the same thing. It just helps out. That's why it's awesome to have a community like this, and we all just help each other out and are able to compare. And so that might be a level, like if you're in your ETH long, when Bitcoin gets to that long or that spot, set an alert and try to watch the reaction there. If you don't see that initiated buying that you're looking for, maybe that ETH long might be getting a little bit overdone as well. I mean, I don't know. For some reason, I just have like a gut feeling that Bitcoin's gonna break up. But that's not any, there's no, it's just, so it looks like a seller here. The seller moved down, seller moved down, seller moved down. And so I think if we can get above that high, it just makes sense to go back up at least to that 40K level to remember what it's like to be in that 40K. But if it breaks, I mean, there's this low, there's pretty decent odds. It comes down to, honestly, I think 35,000. But it just doesn't look like, I mean, it definitely looks down, right? But it doesn't look like it's like it doesn't look like new sellers are coming in to initiate shorts down here.
If you make a channel from the Bitcoin 2 peaks to the low, in the middle of that, the low of that channel is at around 35,000.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And especially if we switch, just look on here. Actually, let's just look at the Bitcoin. As more people start to adopt the Bitcoin futures, they're gonna become a lot more utilized. Yeah, see, even if it does,
Expensive to trade it.
yeah, it is. You could trade the micro Bitcoins though, and they're not expensive to trade. I think it's like 10 cents per, or maybe it's 5 cents per dollar that Bitcoin moves. Something like that. Maybe 10 cents, maybe a dollar per, that's not, definitely not a dollar per dollar. I think it's like I think it's a nickel. I think it's 5 cents. But yeah, so even if it comes down to that 35,000, I think that's when, you know, retail is gonna pour into just, you know, getting crushed. And like I said yesterday, I wouldn't doubt if with Warren Buffett says he's stepping down, and you know, he said he wouldn't buy all the Bitcoin for $25. He also said a lot of other things, but it would make sense if he's getting out because he doesn't know about crypto, just going to retire. He's also old as fuck. The person that takes over Berkshire Hathaway or starts to manage the money from a senior level might see an opportunity here. Retail is going to be shorting. Warren Buffett just said he wouldn't buy Bitcoin. People start shorting. Bitcoin, you know, starts to break, but people forget about excess, and this thing could easily put in that higher low. And if you identify it early, you could have a good long on your hands back up, I think, to that 40,000 level. It's just going to have to be, you're going to have to manage risk really well. I don't think this level is going to hold. I really do think that there's going to be some opportunity down here at 35.
Good UFC fights this weekend, y'all.
Who's on?
Gaethje is
Oh,
fighting Oliveira. Rose Namajunas is fighting Carla Esparza.
what? Carla Esparza? It's like a grudge match from the fucking Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, it really is. And like Carla won her last 5. She beat Rose back in the day, but
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Rose is beast nowadays.
Yeah, well, she beat her for the final.
Carla beat Rose. She choked her out.
Right, yeah. I remember that.
And now Rose has the belt, so she's giving Carla a rematch, which is kind of gangster.
Yeah.
You're fighting the person that beat you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And both of them are definitely, definitely different fighters than they were. I mean, that was probably what, like 2012? That was a long time
8
ago.
years ago.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so 2014, yeah.
I've been doing my betting thing over there. I told you I put $600 in. I made $2,300 my first night. Then I drained it all the way back to 1,000. I just won a couple hundred the other night, so I'm at like 1,300.
Nice. And that's the key too, like just understanding the mindset like that, like, especially when you're trading too, and betting is very similar to trading, is when an account gets built up, just because it gets knocked down doesn't mean that you need to make this back ASAP so you can continue your journey to the upside. Remember that you can get, a couple of these like on the way, and you could even have big moves down and moves up and then other big moves down. The point is to continue to increase, but just because you take a big loss, let's say, doesn't mean tomorrow you've got to get back above that threshold. You can slowly build your way back up there. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And that's ideal, honestly. Why does this thing not show tweets? Go. Oh, Jim Cramer's pumping CNBC subscribers. I fucking hate subscriptions. I think I'm just annoyed by everyone trying to charge for every fucking little thing. Like, bro, you're rich already. Just share the information. Like, what the fuck is your problem? I was so glad that CNN Live or whatever that shit was failed. Hilarious.
It's amazing. I'm so happy.
It's like the information you're already giving is shit, and now you're gonna charge people for it? I don't think so.
You guys know CNN, what it stands for, Communist News Network.
I do like one guy on CNN, Wolf Blitzer. I feel like he gives you a straight edge report when he reports. So when he's on, I don't mind watching Wolf Blitzer, but some people are on there and you can just tell. I mean, it's the same way on every network. I'm not just calling out CNN, but it's the same way. It's very from a point of view, which is unfortunate because most people are simple minded and just like they hear these things And they repeat it to all their friends, and their friends repeat it to their friends, and then all of a sudden it becomes a fact because everybody agrees with it. And then that's it. In this day and age, that's really all that matters, is to make things true, is more people agree with it than you do, and then boom, it's true, which is unfortunate. The marathon, not a sprint. That's right.
That's why I'm happy Elon bought Twitter too.
Yeah. What's up, Otto? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that deal goes through. I mean,
If it doesn't go through, I think like they're still charging him like $1 billion or some shit.
yeah, there's like a deep or no deal clause that he has to pay $1 billion if he doesn't figure out the deal. I actually kind of thought DWalk, and this is just more the conspiracy theorist in me. I thought DWalk was going to be kind of a rug pull. You know, DWalk is like Trump's thing. The Truth Social, or I don't. It's called like Truth Social or something. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. But the ticker symbol is DWalk, and it was a SPAC, but then now it's the company or whatever.
Trump's platform?
Yeah, his like social media platform. And I kind of thought it was just gonna be like a rug pull where, Musk buys Twitter, activates Trump again, Trump comes back to Twitter, and DWalk just takes this complete nosedive. But Trump posted on DWalk that, or the True Social, like that he's not going back to Twitter. He likes that where he's at. So
Yeah, we'll see about that one.
yeah.
He'll be back, dude. That fucking DWAP shit's not going anywhere.
Market's coming down here.
It's like open source code, so it's not like they actually spent any money on it.
No, and I heard they stole that code anyways.
No, it's like a GitHub code. They didn't steal it. It's public for everybody.
Oh.
But it's like me and you deciding to open up a Twitter clone today. We could have it up by lunch or dinner.
Right. It just wouldn't be very popular.
Yeah, exactly like it.
I'd come on it.
That's disgusting. What's funny is like you had kind of like when Trump was president, he was kind of shit talking all of these backs, and then you look back and boom, he makes his own like right after he stops being president. It's like, kind of hilarious.
Chamath Palihapitiya, his SPACs aren't doing too well either.
I mean, SPACs in general shouldn't even be legal, to be honest. They're most of the time they're kind of like a Ponzi scheme for the most part. For the people that started them, they have all these bonds that basically say they can sell shares whenever they want, and so they just wait for this thing to get pumped, and then boom, they just start dumping all their shares. And then right around that time when it's getting a pump, it's hitting the internet, and every fucking ape out there is just buying the shit out of it. Well, they're buying, the initial investment and a lot of times then some that the people that started the company put in, and that gets them to that net zero. And then like Peter is talking about with that open source code for old truth only or whatever it is, that's all profit because they didn't do shit. So genius, really. Anyone that wants to run ads on there, it's all like kind of like net profit because they don't pay for that code. 50 point move, nice. Tomorrow will be very interesting, and I have no idea, I'll be honest with you. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. But I know what we'll do. We'll trade it the same way we always do. We'll wait for the Fed meeting to come out. We'll wait for that move to just get crazy. We'll mark where the impulse is at. And if we're above it, we'll trade to the upside. If we're below it, we'll trade to the low side. That's the best way, in my opinion, to do it. And it served us really well. The past, 2 Fed meetings that we've had this year served us really well. So no reason to fix something that's not broke. VIX is coming down here a little bit, but still not making any crazy lows. Still above 32. So, volume today is 1 million, so pretty decent volume, but comparison to yesterday, we're about 7% less. And it does look like people are selling puts again and selling calls. So that typically is indicative of a balanced day, and similar to what we had yesterday, right? A balanced day. So today we're having a balanced day with value, overlapping, or pretty much just higher, not even really overlapping.
You guys have a good rest of the day. I gotta dip out and get to work.
All right, Peter. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Have a good day.
Microsoft's coming down here a little bit as well. Coming down towards the lows of the day here. And so as this next session opens up, especially in Bitcoin, remember we saw those contracts come in on the low. Let's see if they go down there and test those levels again. And that'll be that'll be a initial key or a reaction to see. They just trade up. So they take the stops from the G period. We're looking for a continuation of buying here. Back to that 80 level. That 80 level has been an extremely important level pretty much all day today. Or at least a highly traded level. Volume's coming in. Glittering in. VIX is dropping. Buyers are stepping up here on the 83. Sellers meeting them. And now we're kind of getting back to that point, right? We said we had initiated sellers here, initiated selling here, and we were looking to see if the initiated seller was going to hold us down below this level. Obviously they didn't. Market just kind of hung out. Buyers stepped up, moved it up, have now taken the stops, but met initial resistance here with those responsive sellers. And if we still bump this over, we're still looking like a P profile. James, he's doing good. Yeah, we actually went to a Brazilian steakhouse on Saturday, and it was so good. And it's always fun to watch James eat because he's a monster. He can eat so much food. Even my kids were just like, "Oh my gosh." If I'm being honest, the sectors look weak to me, except for XLC. I know they're all positive if we look at them, except for consumer discretionary, but everything just is looking kind of weak. Not that we're going to go down, but if a responsive seller or, if initiated seller does show up, they could easily push us back to the open because of how much fear is in the market right now. So if you're in a long, just be cautious up here as we get closer to the highs. You've got to be cautious trying to initiate any higher longs, right? You want to be patient, initiate your longs lower. You miss James? Yeah, good guy. He just doesn't like being on the mic. And I mean, to be on the stream, he's got to get up so fucking early too. I mean, he's in Hawaii, so it's just barely. It's like 7 a.m. for him right now. Oh, I forgot. We actually got permission to play Uncle Answers on stream. So can actually put decent music on when there's a lull. Where's my internet? Yeah, so volume decreased during that G period, right? So on that pull back down, volume decreased a little bit. Interest rate hike is possible in July. ECB, that's the euro, talking about their interest rate raise. I wonder if we could run a strangle on this spot today. Damn, the premium's crazy. There goes Bitcoin going back towards that lower volume there, right? Remember we have these little bit of contracts down there. That's kind of what we're waiting for to see that reaction on Bitcoin. Futures don't price anything. Oh, they're pricing in like 104 points tomorrow. Damn. So if we were to take that spot, so this be it. The US CDC affirms recommendation everyone 2 and older wear masks on airplanes. The dollar is continuing to just crush the British pound. Tesla now over 110,000 direct jobs, roughly 500,000 indirect. It's kind of just the news update real quick. What's going on here? What's this? 3113. Oh, tomorrow's May 4th. May the 4th be with you tomorrow, huh? Everyone have their lightsabers ready? 413 put $230. Reddit. You have a 3D printer, Alex? Pretty cool. So the market's, getting met with some initiated buying up here. These sellers are still trying to move down a little bit and hold price below. But you can see the buyers, kind of stepping up right here, right? And then this is kind of the selling here. It kind of tapers off to the downside. And then, selling here and up at the top. But you kind of see sellers trying to hold. And this, this H high seems mechanical. To me, at least. Looks like we might run through it. You have 3? Oh, it's your side hustle? Oh, that's dope. Just print all kinds of cool shit. Buyers are moving up here, it looks like. There it goes. 1 tick. That's it? That's all you got? Come on. There we go. Keep it moving. Nice break above this. Volume's following. A little mix of buying and selling up here, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, if they are pushing that value area high up, and if we can, if buying gets above this point of control, there's definitely that opportunity to come up to the 12 or the 10. I mean, I'm looking for 12. I'm fixated on it for some reason. But the 10 level was the VPOC, and if we do one of these, right, and kind of smash all this balance together. Up here to merge. Yeah, so that 42.10. I mean 42.12.50 is the TPOC, and then the VPOC is 14. So I mean, it seems like that's where, even if we do one more, it seems like that would be the target, and that would be a spot where if big money selling is going to move down, this is where that we should see them respond at, and we really shouldn't trade too much up here. If we do start to trade up here, that could let you know that the big money seller really didn't move down, and then the target will become the opposite side of balance at I mean, I would say probably 65, 75. This kind of blow off was really just a short covering rally, so I'm not really fixated on it, but 65, 50. But I mean, again, like I said, you know, this is where the responsive seller is really at, so that's why I would be, you know, more comfortable drawing that balance high here than expecting to get up here to this 4,300. I could see responsive selling come in up here. Trying it. Microsoft's coming back up a little bit. Facebook's green, Nvidia's flipped green, Tesla's green, Amazon's green, Google's green. Damn. Elon just tweeted Apple Store is like having a 30% tax. Let's say it's like 30% tax on the internet. Definitely not okay. Ooh. Elon's just fucking testing everybody. He's like, "You're rich? Me too. Let's throw down." He's tired of just dominating tired of these rich people dominating the little guy. He's gonna start dominating some rich people. Buyers still stepping up here. So let me look at the sectors here. Sectors have responded nicely off that. XLC still leading the charge to the upside, but XLK, look at this. And this is what I was talking about before we had this break up. We kind of see, you know, just kind of consolidation all morning on a lot of these, or in a lot of these sectors, except XLC. It's been raging. But I mean, you know, XLI is still a little bit weak. XLP is starting to decide it wants to go up. Financials, healthcare still kind of looks shitty, but you're starting to see big boosts in the weighted sectors. And if we go to the flex, you see that as well. The weighted sectors are starting to pick up. The rest of the market's still kind of leading up, but you're seeing the weighted sectors try to start to catch up, and now everything is flipped back to green. And look at the breadth, jumped back up to 3. H high is right at the D high. I'm not a huge fan of that. Buyers kind of trapped up here at the 91.50. Is it windy outside? God damn it. Well, unable to really push up past that 91.50, 92 here. Let's see if we can get back up there. Getting back down to where the buyers have been initiating from here at like the 88, 87 level. Buyers still here. Let's see if they can pop this top here. We want to keep seeing this buying into this 92. The V pop. Yeah, see, this is interesting. Like, I mean, you can see the VPOC hasn't shifted up yet, right? We're here, VPOC hasn't shifted up yet. Market's looking to try to buy into this 92 here, or 90, 92.50. 91.50, I mean, my bad, 91.50. You know, I'd like to see that VPOC shift up to give me more confidence in buying a breakout. Just right here, I'm just not a buyer. There's just, you know, I mean, I still have a long position, but I'm not initiating any new long positions at the highs because I just can't really trust the market right now. Everything is kind of pointing to, you know, good odds that we do break out right here. You know, the tick looks good, the breath looks good. It's just I'm not seeing yet that response. I want to see some aggression from some of these buyers and start really see them lift that offer and be aggressive. And we just kind of haven't really seen that when we get up towards these highs. Most of these kind of pump ups we've seen have just been, you know, pretty rapid and then retreat. Same thing, D high, E high was the same way, F high was the same way. Get a bit back down to the 86. If it gets below volume, you'll look for, you know, probably like 66 or 70 to 66 on this pushback down here. If it breaks that, especially if it breaks that H low. And remember that when you look at the profile, let's make this hard to make it big, I guess. But and we're trying to determine, like I said, who's kind of in charge, and we're, you know, assuming a little bit of 50-50 action here. But when we don't get continuation like this and we don't get a migration of the point of control to go up, what we do is we take the widest part of the profile, which happens to be, you know, here's 4 TPOs up here. What do we have? 5 TPOs here. And so we take, you know, the one closest to the VPOC. So it's going to be this this low here. So if we draw a box like this and let's just draw it in a different color here. You know, which box would you say is a bigger box? It's fairly close. I'll definitely admit that, but it does look like where sellers are being a bit more responsive here. But you might, it's so tough to tell. It really does look like short covering, and if these sellers don't start to really push price down and scare the market a little bit, you could see it just start to run to the upside. And that would just be like a little trap to trap people in before FOMC, in my opinion. I'm gonna put some music on. Today's one of those days where like I kind of want to watch the market from start to finish just because I want to get a true understanding of how the auction goes into the FOMC tomorrow. You know, not every day do I really care about watching the entire auction. A lot of times I really like to watch the beginning and then, you know, watch it while we're streaming, and then after that I don't really watch the market for the rest of the day. Sometimes I like to watch like the last 30 minutes. But you know, today, even though it is a slower day, it's really interesting to kind of see where all the volume is coming in, and that can give us some clues on what to set up for tomorrow. Oh no, I know. All right, I can put some music on. A bit of selling here still. Can you guys hear that or no?
I'm hearing that.
You can?
It's like back, not through the. It's like it's coming through your mic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm playing on my phone. Is it too loud?
No, not my opinion.
Out off the glass. And if I can't hit, you know I look to pass. It's crazy how we double dash. Yeah, her mama's racist well, they clearly show. Joe Goes on either
show. We planting seeds and reaping go. Post on feeds, but nothing. So open peace and eating more. Let it teach this ain't the show. You never see it. Yeah.
Hey bar.
Telling me shit. Guess I'm a
All right, so let's see how this I period. Let's see how I period auctions here. See if you get a response from sellers that they've been kind of lurking around all day. See if they're gonna actually do something here. Decrease of volume again in that H period. The volume just kind of steadily decreasing as the day goes on, not really directional based.
interest rate.
Right there in the super low.
Truly, it should be.
Oil's coming down here. The EU is lagging on the band though. Buying coming in here, it looks like. Ooh, seller's giving it a go here. Actually, it looks like they just can't get anything going. Every time that you see it get a little downtick, and it just kind of pops up. But what we have seen today is when the market has pulled back a little bit. Oh, you know what I could do? Pause. What we have seen is when we had moved down, it really hasn't been a ton of, you know, really new selling. It seems just like a quick liquidations, and then it just kind of pauses and then slowly grinds back to the upside for the most part. So when something like this is happening in the auction, that kind of lets us know that if we do get a little drop and then all of a sudden an influx in volume and the market doesn't bounce back up, then the downside is probably on its way. I'm not saying that that's, you know, what I'm looking for right now or anything, but those are just little clues of possibility. It still looks like buyers are, you know, stepping up to the show right now. For now though, just something to look out for. It's still responsive selling up here, it looks like, and really no initiated buying on that high right there at 87. Kind of a lack of buying up there. See them lift this off for a bit.
So, million for the whip, $20 for the trust. Only. It don't matter. Diamond with the king. Go back and take a king for. That's a price. Diligent, sure, initiative. Keep the peace, don't be militant. Translated, transitory. Equivalent. Everything except the president. Second, listen. Listen to Father God. With the wisdom, the truth. Follow and follow what I'm saying.
Buyers still stepping up here. So they step up, you know, you can see buyers just kind of stepping up, but nobody is we're not really seeing any initiated buying. I apologize. Not really seeing any initiated buying up at this high level yet. And you can kind of see if we zoom in where this kind of weaker volume is at. It's right here, 87.50. 87, yeah, 87.50 to 87 quarter. Really 87 and above. 87 is just not getting any love. Nobody likes it. See if they can get it this time. But some orders coming in here. There we go. Buyers still trying to lift the offer. we go. For a backfill here. Nope. Trades right through. So I'm looking for them to try to fill. They're back at it. I'm looking for them to backfill this 87 to keep getting this continuation to the upside. Right? Like we said, it's a thin spot. Buyers, if buyers are initiating, they'll keep getting up here, buying, buying, buying. And you're seeing them do it. Look, it's about to pass the 86. Seeing them try to buy this up and take it higher. They're just struggling. That's all. But if they can backfill this area and move higher, the next level up would be that 9150 for them to, that's kind of where they got stalled out last time. If they can't get up there, you've got a weak spot down here at 83, and below that 83, if sellers start to move in, you could be looking at that 80 level again. Buyers still seem like they're stepping up though.
There's a land of the free. I hope that you can deal with it. Damn. Say that I got it. Trees and man, tracks. Shit about that. Season. Giant. Take a
So look for that 9150.
Said I never taking care of God. So that so I said I never considered supposed
Buyers still trying to lift the offer here. I just, you know, they keep struggling here. Let's say it. I'm looking for the next gem. Here's the best coin, SAPE. You join us here, we can start to get to the top together. Fasten your seatbelt and grip firmly. Okay. Where's Kevin at? All right, Adam, we'll see you later, man. Kevin, you still in here? So watch the 9150 level on this. Let's see if Kevin knows what that SAPE coin is. I never heard of it. Does anyone know what it is?
What's the identifier?
SAPE. Wrapped in ETH. Here we are. I mean, it's gone up a little bit right here off this low. Worth, you know, almost whatever hundreds. Oh, is it brand new? Not off to a great track record. It dropped like a fucking million down to almost negative. Basically became worth nothing. it was a rug pull, and now they probably try to rug pull it again. Those are not really my my style, but I appreciate the lookout for sure. The fuck? Railings. Yo, I don't know if you guys have seen this McDonald's app, but it's free French fries on there, like all day, every day. You can get like free French fries, one free French fry like every single day. So, I fucking love French fries. So that's like all I get from McDonald's, French fries.
They are probably some of the best French fries.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could get some nice crispy McDonald's French fries and a Wendy's Frosty at the same time, that's just gonna be a good day. But I mean, that's the thing is you need them at the same time because you need those hot fries. McDonald's fries are good while they're hot. As soon as they're not hot, they're fucking cardboard. They're almost not even food.
Trash.
Right?
Yep.
But
Phenomenal or shit.
yeah, so you got to eat them like, you know, when you go to McDonald's, if you drive through the drive-thru, you just got to start eating that shit in your car because it's not gonna be good by the time you get home.
Yo, you got leftover McDonald's? Nah, just the fries. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you could microwave those things, and you know they might blow up your microwave. There was a dude who took like a Happy Meal, and like stuck it in a desk drawer for like a year, and it never even molded or anything. And I mean, I don't know how true it is. I haven't done the experiment by myself, but like the preservation, like the amount of sugar that must be in all of those products to make them last forever, you know, it's probably not ideal. What's not veggie? The fries? Are they cooked in like the same grease that the chicken?
No, I think they're cooked in different grease, but they're like one of the ingredients is like some kind of animal product, and they refuse to take it out. At least the last I heard.
Hmm.
They were like, "Well, that's what makes it taste good."
It probably is.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they can't go messing up some of their things. I mean, honestly, McDonald's has their own Coke recipe as well. They have a special. That's why McDonald's Coke, and they give you those big ass straws. But McDonald's Coke is better than, you know, other Cokes because they have their own special recipe.
I don't think it's the recipe. I think it comes in like it comes packaged. It's not in
syrup.
bags. Yeah, the syrup isn't in bags. It's like in there. It's like in a different. It's the same syrup, but it's like.
I think the ratio is higher, so there's more Coke to soda water.
That could be too, but any restaurant can change that ratio. But they chill it differently, and and the big straws definitely help.
Yeah. I saw like a meme that said it was like Elon when he's like saying that he's buying Twitter. Someone, you know, edited it and said like, "I'm buying Coca-Cola and putting the Coke back in."
That shit was so funny.
Can you imagine just having that much money? You're like, you know, I'll just buy Twitter today. I'm fucking sick of it. I'll have it. Like, what? Oh, nice.
It was like the ultimate dream to buy your company and fire your boss, whatever.
Hell yeah, that would be dope. I'll buy the military and then just start fucking laying people off left and right, people that suck. And there's a lot of them, so I'll be fucking slicing that bitch down.
And then you'll have about 2 people left.
Yeah. It's stored in a container with skull and crossbones on it. That's like a Mountain Dew. You ever see that experiment, like that lady like stuck a mouse inside of a Mountain Dew can and tried to sue Mountain Dew, and then Mountain Dew was like, nah, that is not possible because we put mouse in Mountain Dew and they disappear completely. So
Yeah, that shit's insane. That's just put together like 1,000 PSI. Like, there's no way, you know?
yeah, it's just, yeah, and the shit that's in Mountain Dew just fucking eats flesh apparently. XLC is just looking so strong today. Let's look up some XLC stocks real quick.
I don't know. The new trend that's starting to piss me off though is in all the drive-throughs and even some registers where they're asking you to donate, to whatever charity. Donate your extra change to the, whatever it is. I don't know why that irritates me, but it's everywhere now.
It is annoying.
I
agree.
It's like you're a massive corporation. Why don't you just fucking do it yourself? I mean, it's like, especially when you know that money's ever going there anyway.
McDonald's has been doing that donation stuff though, with the dollars in the register for a long time.
Oh yeah, like the plastic. Yeah, since like the plastic buckets and yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Not a bucket, but like that plastic little container in front of the register.
They're not asking you to donate though, are they?
Right. No. A lot of companies now, it's like when you check out with your card, it'll say, "Do you want to donate $1 to whatever it is?"
Be like, "Where's that no button?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, where's my dollar at? Nobody's donating dollars to me.
If you donated $100 to the season B Combs through the NFL, the pink ribbon thing. If you donated $100, one penny actually went to the foundation, Cancer Foundation. All the rest went to
Yeah, well, that's like there was a big scandal with the Wounded Warrior Project because they found out that they weren't donating, like they were donating like less than 1% of the money. I was like, Jesus, really?
It's like with PETA, they euthanize almost every like 86% of the animals they euthanize.
PETA does?
More money went to saving dogs.
Sarah McLachlan gets all that money for singing that song.
Oh, my heartstrings.
Terrible video, it really gets me too. I hate it.
Bunch of mangy dogs.
Oh, let's tune into Josh's thing. He's gonna do a philo. He does these philos every day and they're pretty cool. Yeah.
Yo, Brad,
my
girl
options
went to the
account
store
in this-
the other day and bought these bananas. Sat them on top of the fridge. Well, I'm like, man, I've been waiting a long time for these shits to turn yellow. You sure these are bananas? Turned out they were plantains.
Whoops.
Yesterday, and
So
what I was thinking at the end of the day, because I said it again.
You go buy the one and you're like, nope.
Whatever you spend your time on, you are worshiping. And even then, like somebody in the chat, we were going back and forth. They're like, no, it's all about intention. It's not about this and like all of that. And like I just kept thinking about it. And, everybody has their own belief with it. The one thing I thought in my head is just, I view it as like a father-son relationship. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, how can you build a relationship with somebody if you do not spend time with them? You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it was boiling down to for me. But I kept thinking about this. And so I was like, all right, well, it was early. I got a lot of stuff done. And I was like, I said, I need to spend time with Papa Big Man upstairs, Invisible Sky Daddy, whatever you want to call it. So I had a prayer, but it was difficult. It was weird, actually. It was very, very weird because I spent a lot of time. I just sitting there in my prayer room, going over stuff, reading the Bible, really getting into it. But at like one point, it got a little difficult because like I just wasn't like I wasn't feeling the same way, if that makes sense. Like I had like a weird level of energy about it, but it just like I've told you this before. Sometimes Like you just, it hits different. And this time it did not hit different in a good way, where I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like it just felt like there was still something kind of missing out. You know what I'm saying? I felt like there was still like a piece missing. And it was very hard to describe, but so I told my guy, I said, hey man, you know, and I just, I was fully engaged, but that's why there's a couple things it boiled down to. And then I caught myself, and this was a crazy moment, honestly. I don't know, maybe it was the closest I've ever been to a good message, or where it's like hearing the trumpets. I didn't hear any trumpets, but pretty much in the process of this, like, you know, my head was already like bowed, and then my head went a little bit lower, and I was just like, oh, I kind of just like dropped a little bit, and I was like, man, I said, God help me.
A little bit of selling
Right?
here in the market.
And honestly, I don't know. Maybe you should try. I don't want to ruin. Do you want me to ruin what happened next? I don't know. Maybe some of y'all need to do this right now. Maybe some of y'all just, if you believe what it is, I don't know, but maybe you need to just, it was like a full, I was like, just help me. You know, and I've asked for a lot of help. I have asked for a lot of help, believe me. But right when I said that, something else was said right following it. It was weird. It tripped me out. It really did. It tripped me out to the point like I got like goosebumps afterwards, and it was there. I don't know if you want me to tell you it, because I don't know if you got the same thing. But it was beautiful, because right when I said it, the first thing, like legitimately not even like half a second, I was just like, God help me. And then right away, the next thing I said was, I'm already helping you. It was trippy. It was very, very trippy. The next thought I had right away was, I'm already helping you. And I was like, whoa. And then it just hit different. And then I did start to feel then it really did flip. And then honestly, I just started praising God for everything he's done. Because I said, holy crap, literally holy crap at that point. Because I was like, you're right. And I remember this, and I just said, thank you for this, and thank you for taking me out of this. Thank you for bringing it here. Thank you for the work you've done with me, the Chads, everybody individual. And like, it really went from one thing to and then I really, then it got kicked into gear. It was wild, because it doesn't usually happen like that. I'll tell you that, to be honest with you.
You know,
there is, I'm telling you, a lot of times.
Good volume is or not?
I just compare it to the previous day.
Oh man, yesterday was different, dude. It was just literally, I was like,
you can go to Jim Dalton's website,
like a weird, it was
and
like
just click resources and click volume.
in that moment, but then it instantly turned into, I'm already helping you.
And you can see,
so
this is where I'm getting the numbers from.
I don't know if you guys can vibe with this, but
free. It's
I think
not,
you can
not a
if you
paid
really
for thing,
start
and
to
just
dive deeper.
you can see it.
And I think if you really do change your focus on some things, you might be able to see this, because that's what I realized. It was a very big epiphany that it doesn't matter in any sort of feeling, any sort of anything that you're dealing with. It's like, yo, the helping is not just like here and there. Like we said, the God at the bottom is the same as the God at the top, but it really came very simple in the sense. It's like, listen, man, I'm already helping you. It's like you're already being helped. You may not realize it, just like the last time. You know what I'm saying? Because that's it. That's what I realized at different types. So
Apple's starting to get a little bit selling in it right now.
Kind of realizing, well, yeah, it's realizing that you're being helped. But I mean, one thing you could boil it down to is that, all things work in the favor of those who love the world, the Lord. You reap what you sow. Just simple, basic of what it, but it's just a reminder that it's like, if you don't underestimate the path that you're on. And that's what it was. That's what it was for me. Whatever it was, I don't know, because it was a mix of understanding it, but it was also a very mix of like the feeling and the timing of it, and just really understanding that, wow, maybe there's already assistance in the path that you're getting carried to is probably the help that you're looking for, where you want to be without even seeing it. So I got really hyped by that. And that was the feel-up. That's what happened. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to give you from this. I hope I could give you the same thing, like I said, but I had a bunch of other philos, but I thought I wanted to share this one with you. I feel like this one is important in the sense that it's just something to maybe we might need to take a step back and realize that you may be getting helped even if you don't see it, or even without knowing it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you feel me on that. I don't know if some of you have ever been that person where you've helped people without them knowing it, or sometimes you were getting helped without knowing that there's something kind of there. But whatever it looks like, I hope I could tell you this. Whatever it looks like, it may still be your help, even though it may be packaged a little differently. So, and then
Consumer
just one
staples is
thing,
flipped
I think,
red.
you know, I think Moses told this to the people too. It's just like, you know, don't forget the works that have already been done in your life, really, to a degree, because they're really real. And it's like those didn't happen just to get you here. It's like you need to remember this for the next set, because like it's like that's how it played out last time. Is that you saw what you needed, but it didn't play out how you wanted it to. It didn't play out how you first expected it to. So really, what are you trusting in, or what are you fearing, or you know what I'm saying? I could go down the list of many things, but hopefully you feel it. But then it was just a different level of, you know, it's like you're already being helped, but it does come back down to you believing it. And that's what I think the paradox of last night was for me, because at first it's like I didn't have that feeling. But it's like the
Billing's
minute
still
those
coming in.
words
Apple's
came to my
breaking the
mouth,
low.
it's like,
Well,
oh,
breaking the
wait.
low of the previous bar.
No, I do feel it now.
Mine too.
Like it really did hit a little different. So I hope you like it. I know it's short and sweet. Some of you may vibe, some of you may not, but I think some.
Pretty cool. Josh does a philo like every day at 11. I try to listen to it every day. He's a really good dude. He trades options. He's got a really good mentality. And most of the people that follow him are, you know, pretty decent people. And he's smart. He knows what he's doing. So
What's his name?
his name's Josh. His YouTube's called the Trading Fraternity, or his other one is Stock Market Live. He does the live stream. He live streams every day, all day, during the market. Like, so he gets on before the market opens and he stays on until the market closes, which, you know, to me is just amazing that he has the stamina to do it. And he's been doing it for like the past, like fucking 7 years or 6 years or something. He's been doing it for a long time. But, you know, really cool dude. And, you know, if you wanted to check out his stream, definitely I recommend it, especially if you're looking to, you know, understand options a little bit better. He's one of those people, you know, like I said, Jim Dahl and Peter Reznicek, and Josh over at the Trading Fraternity. He also does a lot of real estate too. So if you're interested in real estate or into real estate, he has a lot of tips and tricks and stuff. I don't know much about that stuff. That's more where my brother comes in.
You said Trading Fraternity, and what's the other channel?
Stock Market Live.
Cool, thanks.
That would be a great name for a market channel.
Yeah,
Bust the cat.
Well, he's had it. He got that chip. That's the reason, like, that, you know, he's been doing it for so long before the stock market was even popular on YouTube. That's how he got that name, because he's had that URL for just, you know, forever.
Good name.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to end it there. We're pretty much just chilling. Probably more of the same today. You can see Bitcoin's coming back down to that low, so it did end up coming back through that volume, which we kind of expected, right? Because it was getting an interest in volume in an area we hadn't seen before. Let's see. Ooh, Bitcoin's dropping. Look for the market to maybe take a dive here too, actually. They heard that I was about to get off, and they're like, "Oh, you're getting off? I'll do some moving." Oh, market's coming down a bit. Mechanical buying off that eye low. A break of this kind of like 77.50 level could take us, you know, back down to like the 65, maybe 60 even. If these sellers initiate. Starting to get some red. There it goes. Quick drop. Below the 77. So if we can stay below the 77, target should be 65, 60 level. Bitcoin not following through though. Let's watch Bitcoin, see if it's going to follow through. Well, Bitcoin kind of gave us a little precursor there. Bitcoin started to go. We were able to get short and really take no heat at all looking for this. And you're seeing a little bit of absorption here down on the 75. They're battling back and forth, the 77.50 to 75. Break below that 75, we should get some continuation. That's just buying the previous low. That's just mechanical buying here.
Okay. Yeah. You want something? Yeah, this. Here you go.
Still not able to break it. Yeah, you've probably been a subscriber for a while. I've talked about Josh a bunch of different times. I listen to his music a lot. His music is really good, motivating. Not getting as much follow through as quickly as I wanted. That's kind of buying though. It looks like that G half back, honestly. Ah, I closed that trade. Small trade right there. It might keep going, but I'm pretty much ready just to work out. It's already 11 o'clock, so I gotta get a workout in or I get too tired. If I don't work out, I feel like I just fall asleep for the rest of the day. But yeah, I mean, I think for the rest of the day, most likely we just get balancing, not really anything too crazy. You can see the profile is fairly balanced. We do have that A excess that's been kind of acting as the support all day. So if the market does get down there, we'll look to see if it's going to act as support. I still do like this 64 to 62 level as a possible re-entry on a long position. If we see some responsive buyers step up there, and that's at the prior day high. But if we get back in here and start to spend too much time, you know, there could be a lot more rotation as people start to liquidate leading into the Fed tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised. We're coming back down here now. Should have held. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you are managing risk. And ooh, Bitcoin's coming down hard here.
What time defense meeting tomorrow?
Let me look it up quick. Calendar. Powell is on tomorrow. One doesn't have it. So 65 to 60 is an area where we could see some responsive buying. Remember that GF low is mechanical low, and you know the trend is still down technically. Bitcoin just getting fucking hammered here.
Apple just dipped below 1%.
I have the second on my calendar saved on there. It's so stupid. The FOMC statement's at 2 p.m. So pretty sure this is in Eastern time. Hi. Yeah, I showed them that picture. Yeah, it's funny. Lurky ass cat. The FOMC statement is at, yeah, the statement. So the minutes are going to come out at 4 or at 2. What is this, Eastern time? Yeah, 2 Eastern. So 2 8. Oh, let's see. 3 hours back. So it'll be interesting. There's a lot coming out tomorrow. So we've got, you know, the FOMC statements coming out at 11. We've got oil production coming out, ISM manufacturing PMI that's going to come out before the market opens, or no, right after the market opens at 7. We're also going to have that ADP non-farm employment change before the market opens at 5:15 in the morning. So there could be some, there's going to be a lot of factors tomorrow that could move the market even before the Fed meeting opens up. But we'll trade it how we always do. We'll look for it to, look for it to go above or below and stay with it. And yeah. A little bit of absorption down there on the 69 right there. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And I will catch you guys later. Best day yet on Apex. Eval account up about 20 points. 18 on the eval. 3 on the real. Let's go. Good stuff, Pop.
Sweet.
All right, Trent. I'll see you later. Market's still trying to press down. Like I said, look for that. Look for that reaction, that 65 to 60 level. 65 is the prior day high, so that's why you want to look there. But it's at poor low, so it could be an area where they try to just smash the price through here. Yeah, other than that, I will catch you guys later.